Hey, I'm Sophie K, and this is Knotfest at Wacken 2022. Sophie K here at Wacken 2022 with Fernando from Moonspell. Hello!
Hey, hot tea.
So good, I know. We've just been laughing because I went and got a cup of hot tea. How very English
That's so fancy,
of me.
yeah. Really fancy. They say it was a Portuguese queen that took the ritual of hot tea to England, but they say Portuguese invented the wheel. So
There we go. I
Yeah.
do love Portugal. I'm a big fan.
yeah.
That's one of the things I wanted to ask you about, because obviously you've had so much success as a band, and when people think of Portugal, they might not instantly think of such heavy music, but actually there's an amazing scene in Portugal, isn't there?
There is, yeah. There is.
What do you think is driving that scene?
Well, when we started, absolute boredom with everything that happened on the metal scene in Portugal. Bands were emulating more North American bands, and we wanted to bring something black and folkish and gothic to the scene. And nowadays, everything kind of exploded. I kind of see the perspective that Portugal, because we have like 200 days of sun, so you don't want to make gothic music, you want to go to the sun.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
But the dark side of Portugal, which is something very unknown and that we do our best to reveal to people throughout our music, is that we also have high suicide rates. Come to Portugal, no. Very melancholic country as well. For quite a few years, we were like the end of the known world. There was all the Atlantic Ocean, and that kind of affects us as people. Even our national music, which is fado music, it's a very melancholic, sad. But then again, in fado music, you can sing about death, but also about sardines, and that's Portugal for you, and that's Moonspell for you as well. But we have an excellent scene since the 90s with bands like Tormentor, The Coven, Bizarre Locomotiva, and nowadays I think things are very exciting. We had an amazing band playing here yesterday called Garia.
Yes, we chat to them.
You watch them? They're amazing. I'm very proud of them. And I told them, hey, somebody has to pick up the torch because, we're getting old and cynical, so maybe it's your turn. I think Portuguese metal is recommended, definitely. I can list a lot of bands, but then we'll not talk about anything else. But believe me, Portugal, it's coming up. It took us a few years to catch up. Moonspell was probably the foot at the door, but now things are going to be better, for all of us.
And not just a foot at the door, because you've topped the charts, which is
it's a small country.
it's a difficult thing to do. And you've been up there, you've done all of that. How does it feel to hear bands talking about you as an inspiration?
Well, it feels great, but I'm the kind of guy that thinks the world doesn't revolve around us. I was growing up with Type O Negative. I toured with them. So we kind of the Selfloathers in a way. So our new drummer says, you're always saying this kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's our humor. And honestly, I never, with all my honesty and authenticity, I never felt that Moonspell was going to work, let alone top the charts.
Really?
Yeah, I was studying philosophy. I wanted to be like a high school teacher, the cool teacher that everybody likes, and go and broke in an academic career. But Moonspell was just something that happened. It was not something I dreamt of when I was a kid. I loved metal, I loved music, but I didn't really want to be a musician. We just formed the band because there was no band like us in Portugal. And we were getting exciting bands and exciting news from around the world because we had a small fanzine called Darkness Sin back in 87, 88. And said, there's no sarcophago, Brazilian band in Portugal. We have to make one Portuguese sarcophago. There's no Paradise Lost. So we kind of end up being a mix of all these bands in a way. But that's why we formed the band,
And that's how you found your niche in many ways. What would you say is the biggest changes that you've noticed in the scene since you first started?
Well, freedom. I have to say that these days we have to be more careful with what we say, with what we think, the way we act as well. Because in the 90s we could do everything. We could smoke weed on a bunk. We could burn the bus down. And people will go like, oh, you fool.
Rockstar.
Just this guy from Portugal smoking weed in the bunk. And nowadays I feel things are more professional. They are more put together in a way. But I kind of, even though I'm not on a nostalgic trip, I kind of miss the, the imperfections of the 90s when we started. That kind of dark humor, that kind of, we're nothing special, but we're just lucky. And nowadays it's a big fight. I think the music, it's different. Probably it's better even. I love to listen to new bands as well. I'm not just listening to 90s stuff. But the main difference is that I felt we were a bit more free. Or careless, let's call it this way. Nowadays I meet a band and they are all very professional. They know where to go, they know everything, and sometimes I'm disappointed. I say, can you just not go to the right dressing room and just crash into, like I did today. I crashed into At the Gates dressing room because I didn't know where Moonspell was.
Yeah.
And I thought I was with the cool guys. Yeah, that's it.
That's brilliant. Now you did release a new album. Hermitage, that was in February 2021, is that right?
Exactly, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that album, because obviously touring's picking up more and more and more, so you're able to get out there and play it.
Well, that album became a kind of, how can I say, almost it had like this zeitgeist feeling, because I was writing the album since 2017, and it was an album about social distancing, about hermits, about saints being tempted, going to the deserts, coming back, serve the community. Then all of a sudden, we were social distancing by decree, by sanitary emergency. And I was like, why have I done such an album? Because everybody is going to think it's a COVID album. Yeah. And in the way, it became that. It is an album that people listen at home. Now Moonspell is 30 years, so we kind of in the limbo. Should we play the new album? Should we play the classics? But I think the legacy has won, because I think people nowadays need to be more entertained than challenged. Yeah. It's what I think right now. That's what we're doing on the festival. So, yeah, it kind of suffered because of not having a tour, but we just did so that people can have a taste of it. We just went to a Portuguese natural wonder, natural cave. And we played there. The whole album is coming out on DVD and Blu-ray and live album. Oh. It's called From Down Below, because it's recorded live at 80 meters deep. Because the world on the surface was so sick and boring that we took like 100 fans. We did a silent event, and that's coming out. But right now, all our tours, we play a couple of songs of Hermitage. We love it, but we know that was an album that is going to be really like belonging to a time that was weird for all of us. But people loved it, and they listened. They had time to listen to it at home. Yeah.
That's amazing. Where did you come up with the concept of playing in a cave?
Well, we were touring. We call it the mother of all tours. We were touring together with the Rotting Christ, and we came home after like 60-something dates, and we were not in a good shape as a band. I didn't want to go on stage again. And then COVID came, to change my mind, probably. And at the beginning, I was like just taking it easy, because people were very desperate. In Portuguese, they want to buy toilet paper, they want to groceries. So I didn't know what was the role of music back then. And then I waited, and then I didn't want to fall off the radar. So I had to go in between the lines of COVID and regulations. One day was one regulation, the other day was the other regulation. I think everybody went through that confusion. So we played some shows, and I said, well, let's do something good with our time. So I went with my kids and niece to visit the caves. The kids hated it. I was like, wow, this is great.
Kids like, oh, it's boring, I want to go on TikTok.
Yeah, I want to go Roblox, And I said, this is amazing. So actually when I was going up from the caves, I met a guy who was a Moonspell and metal fan.
Wow.
So I said, can I make a photo session in here? He said, yeah. Then I said, can I make a video clip here? So we made a video clip, and then finally I proposed. I say, I want to make a full show here. And they were like totally open.
Wow.
They have movies, science fiction movies that were recorded there. They had some classic, they had some fado, but they never had a metal band. So it was quite the event, and we made it like very secret, like a secret show. We had like a guest list, like Wise White Shut.
Wow.
And people were like, yeah. But I don't know how. I said it was just a question of being there at the moment, and I said, yeah, let's do something that we never did, play in a cave. I don't know if everybody, they're always telling us like the gods, there's all these bad caves and cave bar. So actually we, for a couple of hours, we had our own bat cave, yeah.
That's the most metal
Except
thing
for
I've
the
ever
bats.
heard. Apart from the bats.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to ask you, as such a well-known face within the world of metal, where is the weirdest place that you've been recognised?
Well, I have to say my own land in Portugal. Once I was buying my cat some food and the policeman tapped me on the shoulder. I don't know, when a policeman taps a metal guy in the shoulder,
You're like, oh no.
I'm in trouble. But he said he just wanted a picture and, to talk with me and to get an autograph. But once, like my 15 minutes of shame or 15 seconds, once I went like to a Radio Shack in the States to buy something.
Yeah.
And the guy recognized me. You're the singer
Wow.
of Moonspell. What are the odds? Like in, I don't know where.
Wow.
And yeah, I don't know why. I cut my hair and I was 2 days or 3 without being recognized. Best time of my life. Not even my family recognized me. But I don't know why, because we're not the biggest band around. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm a figure that people say, yeah, there goes that guy. I don't know, but I'm very often recognized.
I think you have an iconic aesthetic and you are...
I try my best not to. But
You're too stylish, you can't help it. Not
yes,
everyone can
I'm
be
a fashion
so
victim,
stylish.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much
you
for
so
chatting
much.
to us here at Knotfest. Brilliant, thank you.